Here at Weedcon West, back here on the Jake Feinberg Show, joined by Fiddlers Green, Jody, Starr. Welcome to the Jake Feinberg Show, brother.
Hey, thanks, Jake. Great to be here at Weedcon. It's a great venue. Weather's been good. All sorts of fun.
My gut tells me that your cultivation started at University of Vermont. Is that right, or did it start?
Exactly.
Or did it start before?
No, the University of Vermont is where I got into cannabis.
I want you to talk about the original inspiration for you getting into this stuff.
So our original inspiration for Fiddlers Greens, Captain Cameron, Shan Hatton, his wife, our CEO, she's badass, and I all lived together 20 years ago in St. Croix in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So we used to grow cannabis on our property. We used to make, Cameron used to make a pot ice cream, pot brownies, make pot ice cream sandwiches, and sell them to the tourists on the beach in St. Croix. We always knew there'd be something bigger than this. Not really sure this is going to happen, but it's been a wild ride. So they've had a farm in Sebastopol in Northern California for the last 10 years. We've been growing CBD flower for the last 7 years. And the last 5, we've been specializing in ACDC, which just tested at 30-1 out of our garden, which is awesome. Like a big field of Xanax.
When you, going back to UVM though, did you grow there?
We grew in our closet my junior year.
In the dorm? In the dorm?
No, in a house.
Okay, so what did you learn then that you've been able to carry over to Fiddlers Green?
What I learned then was I sucked at growing cannabis.
So why did you suck then?
Well, we didn't know enough about it. We were all learning off of High Times magazines back then. I graduated in '97, so it was a while back, and there wasn't the information there is now. There wasn't the exchange of ideas. I have friends who, but they never talked about it really. Even in St. Croix, we weren't putting together anything good. So not until we got out here into Sonoma County, where we have a bunch of friends from the Virgin Islands who have learned best practices, biodynamic cultivation, trying to do things the right way, respecting the sun and the ground and the plant, and we do a whole infusion into our olive oil tinctures. So don't mess with the combinations, the terpenes and cannabinoids, and the whole full spectrum is very important to us to maximize the medicine that we get out of the plant. We're trying to help people get rid of the pill bottles out of their cabinets. No more Xanax, no more Advil, no more Ambien, Tylenol PM. We're 5% of the world's population. We take 70% of the pills. It's insane.
I mean, you're a successful grower of marijuana, but how do we push big pharma out of the picture? I mean, they're pacifying people, man.
I don't think we're going to be able to push them out of the picture. I think it's us to stay together as small farms to maintain small batch boutique cannabis. There'll always be Budweiser, then there'll be Sierra Nevada.
I did.
And that's what you're saying. Protect the plant, do things, best practices, and people that know will always come back to the best stuff and the thing. And from where we are in Sonoma County, it's the best soil in the world. It's the best growing in the world. We make the best wine in the world in there. We make the best grow the best cannabis in the world in that corner. And I mean, it will survive. It made it very hard to stay compliant, but we're all in. We're doing everything we can, and we have a bunch of licenses, and it's awesome. It's a brave new world we live in. It's awesome.
Did you learn true cultivation in St. Croix?
No. We sucked in St. Croix too.
Again, was that a lack of interconnectivity and sharing of ideas?
Yeah, we did nothing in St. Croix. Down there, we just threw seeds in a pot, put them outside around the outside of the property, and they were still buzzing helicopters all down there back then. So you had to keep that stuff kind of spread out. So we grew a couple of terrible strains on there. Not until we got out here and we got into the soil out here and just the amazing opportunities and the ability to talk amongst other people. We had a farm in Occidental in Sebastopol. At the Union of the Occidental, you can sit down with 20 cultivators and talk about whatever you want. If you have a question, they'll answer. If you have a problem, chances are someone's had it before. And we're very much now part of the community where we can exchange ideas, and things are moving faster, exponentially because of the exchange of ideas now. People are coming out of the black one.
You don't feel inhibited to also talk to people that you're going to have a black helicopter on your ass, right?
We screen cannabis from the trees now at every minute, everything we can. We're at a great place in California where we're able to talk about it in restaurants, talk about it at the airport, strike up a conversation with someone anywhere you want to be, and talk about the medicine, talk about the plant, and raise awareness that this is the new normal. We try to smoke everywhere we can, just so people feel comfortable around it. It's out here, it's there, it's people's medicine. It's all medicine, not just CBD, THC. Everybody's bodies are different, everybody reacts differently to the plant. But what we know is it makes people better for the most part.
How has it healed you?
I'm pretty excitable, as a general rule. As you can tell, I wake up like this, unfortunately. So I've never had a cup of coffee in my life.
Oh, that's great. You are on a, I mean...
Yeah, I'll do 50 bong hits in the morning to get to this. for you guys, you know.
Oh,
So for me, the
man,
THC
dude.
is my medicine, and it keeps me calm. But because I'm in the industry now, we have a great CBD tincture, we have CBD flower. I pick and choose my times now. When I need to focus, I'll dial back and I'll smoke some CBD flower. If I'm in the car, I take our ACD tincture. It calms my anxiety and my stress down almost instantly because it's sublingual, which is amazing. And then at night, I go to sleep fine, but I have crazy dreams. So when I take the THC tincture at the end of the night and I smoke a bunch of pot, I don't remember my dreams and I sleep. I go to bed and I get 8 hours of sleep.
That's
when I
fascinating.
Wake up. It's amazing.
Because the times that I've like taken weeks off from not smoking, that's when my dreams get insane.
They get insane because you're not smoking, exactly. Because when you smoke the THC at the end of the night, it inhibits your brain from going into the REM cycle, so you don't remember your dreams. Because then you can tell, if you smoke a bunch and then one night you don't smoke, your dreams go crazy. Listen, I go to work in my dreams and I work. I don't want to go to bed and I don't want to work for 8 hours, not being able to fill the water glass, not being able to get this friggin' thing through Salesforce. It stinks. And when you can give somebody sleep, you know, without having to take an Ambien or a Tylenol PM, our tinctures will allow you to sleep naturally. They don't put you to sleep, but when you can either fall asleep, stop the grind. The ACDC is amazing. You lay in bed, you can't turn it off. That'll calm your brain down and allow you to fall asleep naturally. So, because some people can't fall asleep, some people don't stay asleep. You know, so we have two different tinctures.
Jody Starr's on fire right now,
well,
man.
You gotta treat the person, not necessarily just that they don't sleep. You gotta figure out why they don't sleep and what they do. But sleep, pain, and actually animals are the most important things that we do for people right now. It's amazing.
Like, why did you win today?
We do best practices.
And would you care if you didn't? I mean, is it just really about? I guess here's my point: is that gratitude is the attitude, man.
Well, this is a community event. You know, we have a huge family, but we've learned from so many other cultivators. We've had so much help from the other, you know, from people like I said in Occidental. We've been using people for 10 years, you know, getting ideas. This is not about Fiddlers Green. It's about getting medicine to people. It's about raising awareness about the plant. We're so blessed to be a part of bringing this plant out of prohibition right now. People that bang their heads against the wall for 50, 60 years, going to jail for stupid, you know, a seed, a roach, and not knowing what the end looks like. Well, here we are. We can see the end of what it looks like, but it's still a huge pressure for us to continue to educate people, to make sure they understand the different ways to take cannabis, the different uses for it, that it's not, that the propaganda of the last 70 years was not true. You know, it's based on insanity. And so now we have an opportunity to educate more people, and California is great because we're ahead of the curve in this, and we take it very seriously to grow good quality, sun-grown, biodynamic cultivations, doing things the right way. This is not about money. This is about medicine for people. You know, when you see a baby who doesn't have seizures anymore because they take our medicine, you know, kids that don't have grand mal seizures anymore, kids whose tumors have gone away, it's the most gratifying thing I've ever been involved with. It's so cool.
How many? I mean, I'm not asking you to quantify that, but how many times a year does that stuff go down?
Well, right now, in the last 2 months, I have met with 6 different families. Dr. Bonnie Goldstein out of Orange County recommends a 5 tincture, cocktail for the kids. A CBG, a CBD, a CBDA, a THC, and a THCA. All 5 different strains, so it maximizes the amount of combinations that a kid is going to get. And she uses our CBDA and our THCA, Fiddlers Greens tinctures, our raw tinctures. As part of this cocktail. So since then we've been able to meet. We have 6 different families I've met in the last 2 months I've dinner with, and their stories are amazing, and the testimonials are so powerful that, you know, without your ACDC.
Or can you get, without mentioning names, like what are these stories?
Okay, so our favorite one is Baby Willow. Baby Willow, her mom Caitlin Miller, and her husband Matt. They had a baby and perfectly healthy growing up, and then at 4 months old got diagnosed with a really rare seizure disorder called West syndrome.
No.
They said she would never cognitively grow properly again. Wouldn't have a functional life. Chemotherapy, steroids. You know, they had no idea what was going to happen to her. They couldn't really diagnose it. It was a really rare seizure disorder. And after 2 or 3 months, she had gone to 8 neurosurgeons and finally got someone to recommend cannabis. She got online and found our ACDC down the street in the desert, in Palm Springs, and she got a baby on it, and slowly over time titrated them off, and now at about 14 months, this baby is seizure-free, no longer in chemotherapy, no longer in steroids, doesn't take any medicine except for
Baby Willow.
Baby Willow.
Baby Willow.
She's like a little mascot. It's so cool. So now this baby at 14 months gets up, walks around. I was playing catch with her the other day. She's climbing like a cognitively functional 14-month-old. And they said it just would never happen.
Well, let me ask you, this is really interesting. So, but is it something that she's going to have to take put in her diet?
Well, we're going to keep her on it, yeah, because just to keep the balance in your body. But the beauty of cannabinoids is that they bring your body back to homeostasis, so eventually you don't need the pills. The pills, they just mask you. They're not trying to get you better. If you stop taking the pills, you're not a customer anymore. That's not our style. We want you to get better. You get your body back to homeostasis, and over time, you'll need less and less and less of it, and then you take it only when you need it. But she'll probably take it for the rest of her life. Just as a precautionary thing, just because who knows, because it's such a rare disorder that right now we're doing something important right now, and they're charting it and stuff like that, so that we'll have this information for the next family that
I think it's
testimonials are amazing.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to get some families here to this conference, to speak about the.
They would love to come.
Actually, they're preaching to the choir here,
yeah,
but
they would love to come. The families just want to get the word out because for them, when they started looking for answers, it wasn't always easy to find them. So the more information we can get out, the more testimonials we can get out. Because right now, because we can't study it scientifically, so much of the evidence is anecdotal. So it takes families like this saying, "Hey, my kid would not be alive without this medicine. My kid, would have 100 seizures a day. My kid's anxiety is down. The cerebral palsy, the shakes are away. The kid can live a normal life now." It's amazing, and they want to get the word out too. So they're so happy to share their story. It's really cool. It's really powerful.
Well, I got to tell you, man. You want to talk about what awards did you win today?
So we got. One of our farms, Spring Creek, got third place in the indica flower category. Our Durban Poison got second place for sativa, which we grow at our house, at our farm, with our ACDC and our OG Kush. And then all three of our tinctures we entered. The ACDC Rogue got second place in CBD tinctures. The Kindred Rogue won first place, and the OG Kush Rogue.
You were wearing out a path. It was like a manager. It was like a pitching coach coming out to talk to his pitcher every time, man.
It's nice. It's such simple medicine, but it's just two ingredients. Like we do a raw infusion, just whole organic cannabis we grow ourselves biodynamically in the sun. And we just ground it up and infuse it into raw organic extra virgin olive oil. There's no extraction. There's no solvents. It's just two ingredients. It couldn't be simpler. It's the same recipe from 5,000 years ago. But the beauty is, and what's nice about these awards, it just goes to show that it works. And that's the important part. Is that we don't care about awards and like that. It's great for medicine. But when people understand that it works, it's a validation of what we do. And then it's easy to explain to other people. It's just, it's marketing. It takes a village to keep doing this.
Well, if things break the right way, I think we'll see Jody Starr on Capitol Hill within 5 years, man. Much love to you, man.
Awesome.
Thank you for being part of the
Jake.
program.
Really appreciate it, man.
Love always. Peace.